My sister, Isabella, and I had no friends, we only had each other. We were viewed as outcasts. Other kids at school called us the Tramp Twins. The name was clearly targeted at our appearance. We were always covered in dirt, and our personal hygiene was practically zero. All things beyond our control. We didn't live in a happy home, didn't have running water, and the clothes on our backs were all we had. Greeting us when we got home was our parents both passed out on the living room floor, in the spot where our TV used to be, before they sold it for heroin. The house was nothing but empty rooms. A single filthy mattress on the floor of our bedroom was where we slept head to tail every night. It was during the night that we had conversations, our voices shivering from the cold. Do you think Mom or Dad would miss us if we died? Isabella asked, her voice almost breaking. Of course they would, I lied. The honest answer would have been, no, I don't think they would have missed us at all. Isabella then began crying. She did that a lot. I would often hear her crying herself to sleep. Our parents had broken us completely. But poor Isabella, she was broken most of all. One day I found her seated on the mattress stabbing herself repeatedly in the arm with a used syringe. She said the pain made the bad thoughts go away. I hugged her tightly, and told her everything was going to be all right, as she sobbed into my shoulder. I love you, sis, Isabella said, wiping tears from her eyes. Those were the last words my sister ever said to me. The next morning I found her dead in the bathroom. She had hung herself using Dad's belt. I wanted to scream, but I didn't. I just stood in shock, as my entire world caved in on itself. I rushed into the living room, and tried to wake my parents, but they didn't care. In anger, I picked up a syringe from the floor, and stabbed my mother in the neck until she died. My father remained passed out, his eyes didn't open until I jammed a handful of needles into his face. Once they were both dead, I sat on the floor in a puddle of blood. Everything had happened so fast that it was all a blur. I regretted nothing. They were the reason that Isabella left me alone in such a miserable world. Why should I be alone when I could be with Isabella again? That is what I ponder this very instant, as I test the edge of the knife with my thumb. Life is always so cruel to the kind, yet so generous to the wicked. It is a life I want no part of, not without my best friend. But I have hope. Maybe once I cut my wrists, I can be with Isabella again. Everyone loved Jana. She was kind, generous, and made everyone feel special. She was homecoming queen 3 years running, on the honor roll every semester, and was designated most likely to become an activist in the yearbook. With everything going for her, no one could understand why she hung out with Sue. Sue was miserable, and she didn't try to hide it. She was mean, selfish, and hostile to anyone within 10 feet. Even Jana. And yet, Jana remained by her side. The meaner Sue got, the softer Jana was. The more selfish Sue grew, the more giving Jana became. Sue's a charity case, everyone said. Jana can't stand to see her suffer. It was true that Jana was in her element. She practically glowed as she helped Sue with her homework or coaxed her into attending a party. It made everyone admire her more. And yet, it wasn't enough to save Sue. Despite Sue's lack of friends, hundreds went to her funeral. They wanted to support Jana, who was devastated. No one dared discuss it in front of her, but the rumors flew. Sue had done this to herself. Even with Jana's devotion, she couldn't conquer her demons. When the service ended, Jana was the last one standing at Sue's grave. Her friends were obliging when she asked for a few moments alone, understanding that she needed closure. Jana laid a hand on the carved headstone, her fingers leaching warmth from the sun-drenched granite. "Thank you for your friendship," Jana whispered. She allowed herself a smile. "Your misery was delectable." Bill grimaced in pain as he knelt down to hoist his sloshing bucket over the lip of the mop sink. His sciatica was acting up tonight. Crouching hurt like a bastard, but bending at the waist was even worse. All the Advil in the world wouldn't even begin to touch this pain, not even close. The bucket slipped off the sink and crashed into the wall beside it. There was a puff of drywall dust, and a small wave of dirty brown water sloshed over his safety shoes, soaking them instantly. Bill gaped down at his wet feet, glared at the hole in the wall, and snarled, "God damn it, isn't that just fucking great? Fuck me." Bill peered into the hole with the LED flashlight on his keychain, and he gasped in shock. A tiny man in a dark suit was staring back at him. The man snapped, "Whatcha lookin' at, doofus?" and clambered through the hole. He slapped the drywall dust off the sleeves of his suit jacket and let out a sneeze. Bill croaked, "Well, I wasn't. I didn't mean to." "Relax," the tiny man grinned. "I was just fucking with you. You shoulda seen the look on your face. Anyway, hold still for a second, woulja?" The tiny man inhaled deeply, and something intangible passed between them. He immediately grew. Almost a foot taller. "Ah, that's the stuff," the not quite as tiny man sighed, and he patted his belly. "Human suffering always hits the spot. Anyway, I gotta head out. Thanks for releasing me from my prison, my guy. You're a real pal." He started to stroll towards the open door of the janitor's closet, and Bill exclaimed, "Wait. Where are you going?" "Oh, I'm probably gonna wander around for a while and drink in all that misery," he called over his shoulder. "I'll get bigger and bigger, and then I'll lay this entire shitty planet to waste. Burn it, stomp it, drown it, whatever tickles my fancy. Should take about 4 days, I'd think." Bill limped after him as fast as he could and called out, "Hold on. You can't just destroy everything. What am I supposed to do? How the fuck should I know?" The man called back. "Grab a hammer and start bashing people in the head, maybe? I dunno. It kinda doesn't matter. I'm indestructible, and with all that suffering floating around out there, I'll be the size of a mountain in no time. You're all pretty much fucked." Bill watched him leave, his eyes wet and his lip quivering. He looked back at the mess in the janitor's closet, and his expression slowly went dark. "Nah," Bill whispered. "I don't gotta clean that up. Not me." He shook his head, closed the door, and limped off to the supply room to find himself a hammer.